you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast, the hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. Chris Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com, thechrisvossshow.com. Hey, guys, we're coming here with another great podcast. We certainly appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for being here. Be sure to refer the show to your friends, neighbors, relatives, dogs, cats. Tell them all to sign up and subscribe. It's free for an unlimited time. You just press that button on iTunes, or you can find it anywhere syndicated across the web, even like Amazon and Audible. You can find the Chris Voss Show podcast. That's how special it really is. So you shouldn't miss the special things in your life. You should appreciate them, enjoy them, embrace them. So make sure you and your friends embrace the ChrisVossShow.com podcast. You can go to YouTube.com to see the video version of this at YouTube.com/Chris Voss, Goodreads.com/Chris Voss, see all the stuff we're reading and reviewing. And you can also go to all these free groups we have on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and all that sort of good stuff, and see what's going on there. Today, we have a most excellent guest. I don't know where we get these folks. We put them in the Google machine, bring us excellent podcast guests, and they just pop up when we invite them on the show, and there we have one today. His name is Josh Koenigsberg, and he is the author of a new forthcoming book that you're going to take and get a hold of. This is going to be pretty exciting, especially if you're in the business of law. The law, as Peter Sellers used to call it. Law Firm Digital Marketing Made Easy is the book that he'll be coming out with here. The only book you'll ever need to become a best-known attorney. That sounds good to me. I need some attorney work, probably use it from time to time. Josh is a digital marketing and Google local search expert with 26 years of digital and technology marketing experience, including being co-founder of the first financial search engine on the web in 1996. There's some history for you. He is a member of the group named Seven Figure Agency, where he coaches and mentors other digital marketing agency owners from across the globe. In April 2021, Josh and his co-founder and partner, Annie Leonard, were awarded the fastest growing agency award for 2020 out of approximately 180 member agencies. In addition, him and his team and his law firm marketing pros won the prestigious .com magazine's 2020 Impact Company of the Year award. And here he is. Welcome to the show, Josh. How are you?
Hey, Chris, thanks for having me. I'm doing great.
Thanks for coming by. And you look all spiffy, too. I love the whole suit thing going on.
Well, thank you.
I was kind of jealous. I'm like, maybe I should go put a suit on. I'm being upstage at this point, Josh.
I'd rather be casual like you.
There you go. So, Josh, give us your plugs. Tell us where people can find you and your company that's doing amazing things on the web.
So www.lawfirmmarketingpros.com is our website. From there, you can link through to our Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and all the good stuff that you look for in social media.
There you go. So you got this great book that's coming out. What motivates you to write this book?
So I've been in digital marketing for 10 years, and I kind of see the same questions over and over again, and especially for law firms, because they don't spend any time in law school on marketing, like 0 hours. So when I get so the idea is to, hey, let's help these guys get along and make it easy for them, hence the name. And once they get into the nuts and bolts of how to do this stuff, it can get fairly complicated, and then we can be there to help them through it. Or if they do it successfully, they're going to get real busy, in which case they're not going to have time to keep up with it. So we're here to help them along. And obviously then you have your other law firms and attorneys who are really busy right now, are interested, want to read the book, and then they raise their hand and say, hey, help me.
There you go. So give us an arcing overview of the book, and then we'll get some more to know you better.
Sure. So it's really a comprehensive look at every single aspect of digital marketing, with the exception of apps, which don't really have that much of an application in the field of law. So we're going to take a deep dive into SEO. A lot of people don't really understand SEO, search engine optimization, what it takes to rank on Google and other search engines. Just as important, the area called, most people think it's Maps. It's really called Google My Business technically. Maps is the app that you use on your smartphone for directions. So a deep dive into Google My Business, which is extremely important and very difficult to get to. There's only 3 spots in that section for any given search query, or what we're going to say search engine results page. And those 3 positions, by and large, on average, get 65% of all the clicks and all the conversions.
Wow.
So, yeah, so depending on the industry, there's a little flexibility there, but the reports I see coming out of Google are anywhere from 62 to 68%. So I just round it, split it, and say it's about 65%. So we take a deep dive in how to get that, and depending on the market and where you are, both geographically and the type of law that you practice, sometimes it's going to be hyper competitive, right? So we're going to take a look at social media, how to leverage social media to your benefit. And by the way, the overall goal is to drive more qualified traffic that's easily converted, right? So most law firms seem to struggle with that, again, because they don't really understand marketing. We're going to look at Google Ads and pay-per-click, which can be very, very expensive, and it's a costly lesson when it's done wrong. And yes. We even see a lot of other agencies doing it wrong, at not at their expense, at the expense of their client. Right? Yeah. Exactly right. Right. So we're going to take a look at some YouTube and video and how important that is today, becoming more and more important every day, as you're aware. So that's kind of the higher level things that we're going to go into. And just to say one other thing about pay-per-click, Google Ads. And that is retargeting. So for example, retargeting is when you see ads following you around the internet. It's like they're tracking you down, right? Yeah. And we know there's a lot of updates coming on that right now. We know that the Facebook or Apple just released the Facebook update where it's an opt-in now for the consumer. But retargeting is important, and here's why. 5 years ago, about 50% of people took an action the first time they went to the website. So the action was either they called or they filled out a questionnaire, or what we call a lead gen box. And most lawyers will have a chat bot, so they'll fill out one of those. So here it is 5 years later, and it's just over 2.5% of people taking action. So wow. You want to stay top of mind, and you want to follow them around. And even if we can't do it on an iPhone, we can still do it on all the other platforms.
Yeah, there you go. So this is going to be a great book for lawyers to take and have. I grew up in the age where if you wanted to be a successful lawyer, get all the leads, you had to buy the back of the phone book or giant pages on yellow pages and stuff. But that's all gone now. Now it's all the internet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So give us let's get to know you just a little bit better before we get into rundown more about the book. Give us a rundown of your history. I mean, you've got some incredible history that's taken place, and give us some more stuff on your firm too, if you would, please.
Yeah. Thanks for asking. It's a great question. So my degree is actually in communication, going way back, way back to the 80s. And always been a kind of a serial entrepreneur, and as an entrepreneur, you need to learn to market yourself. And about 10 years ago, I decided to reinvent myself. And it's like, why didn't I do this 30 years ago? Because I love what I do. I really have a passion for it. We have a significant impact on our clients and their staff. So for me, I just kind of fell into where I need to be in life, and it's really worked out well. So historically, that's how I got to where I was. Interesting. I like to say this. My mother was an art teacher. So me and my siblings growing up, we grew up with a lot of arts and crafts. So to the point where, and this is kind of fascinating when I tell people, we were not allowed to have coloring books.
Oh, wow.
Right. So we weren't, so it wasn't about coloring in the lines. It was about being more creative and creating your own stuff. Right. Which is difficult to explain to a 6-year-old. Right.
Oh, why can't I have what the other kids have?
Yeah, exactly right. But turns out it's a great lesson. So, so I've been a kind of a serial entrepreneur and serial marketer, and learned a lot of things along the way, and continue to learn every day. I just have a thirst for it and a passion for it. So about 10 years ago, we started what we're going to call our legacy agency that has morphed into Law Firm Marketing Pros. And that company is Web Promotion Partners, still exists. We just aren't looking to add any clients to it. We only want to help lawyers today. So was able to assemble a fantastic team as we grew. My partner and I, Andy's an engineer. So the more you learn, and when you take a deeper dive into the book, the more you learn. A lot of this is real technical stuff, right? And because it's technical, if you think about, I just described my mind as a creative mind. So how's that blend on the technical side, right? I get a little bit of a headache when I dive in a little too deep to that stuff. So having an engineer to complement me is just a fantastic situation for us. And we've been able to technologically figure out what Google algorithms want, which is constantly changing, by the way, what they want to rank, so that as we grew, we figured out more and more, and we started layering in more and more services. So we started out with what way back in the day was called Google Places. Google's had about 10 different names for it until they finally decided to settle on Google My Business. Our first client was actually my family law lawyer. So, and again, we're going back 10 years now. So as we've progressed as a company, or what I'm going to refer to as agency, we added on PPC, we added on, and there's a difference between Google Organic and Google My Business, right? So the natural progression is there. And we just continue to add more and more. Facebook ads now seem to be very popular, and we get a lot of conversions. And we've refined it even more to optimize the conversions, which is at the end of the day, the most important thing, right? So let's just, for example, on a website, if you go to a website and it is not easy to navigate as a consumer, what do?
You leave.
You hit the back button, right? Yeah, the back button is the number one button in all the internet, right?
Yeah.
So there's a science to have a properly converting website. So if you're spending money on clicks, and in law they're really expensive, especially personal injury law, that is the single most expensive category in all of Google clicks. Wow. I've seen clicks over $1,000 for a click.
Wow.
Yeah. Right. Whether they call you or not. Right. Whether they take it. Right. Exactly.
Wow.
So
I'm in the wrong business.
Yeah, well,
be in the Google business.
That's why Google's Google, right?
Explains everything.
Really, really smart over there, by the way. Their engineers are brilliant. Yeah. So we've taken it to a level of having the best possible scenario to convert the client. And that's exactly what the attorneys want. Yeah. Less time on people who you don't want.
Yeah.
Right? So that's I hope I gave you a good enough history on the company as we've grown, and we've hit a tremendous stride. The award that you mentioned in the intro, we grew through COVID, and our legacy agency lost probably 25% of its business. Wow. We grew over 1,100% in the year. So that's from both doing our own digital marketing and word of mouth referrals, which we all know are the best.
What's funny is as a lot of my friends' wives are telling me there's going to be a huge amount of divorce coming down the pike once the coronavirus is over, because everyone's been living together. So it might be a good book for divorce attorneys too. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, we have quite a few what we're going to call family law attorneys.
Yeah. Okay. Family law.
Yeah, and I'm tracking the trends on the reporting and analytics that we provide, and there's definitely an uptick. So.
Everyone's been living together for a year and a half. They're reaching the boiling point.
And then you kids into the mix, right? That are stuck in the house, right?
So. Yeah. So this is really good. Give us some other techniques and details that people are going to find in the book, and of course, it'll be available soon. They can go to the Chris Voss Show website and click on the Amazon link, and that will take you to it. So give us some more details that you can take and get from it.
Yeah. So I'm going to describe it this way. Google's algorithm is like a point scoring system. And it works off of both positive and negative points. Mm-hmm. And this is described in the book, right? So the best analogy I can come up with is credit. You do things the credit bureaus like, you get more points. You make a late payment, that's a derogatory, they penalize you. Same basic concept, but the key is to know what Google wants. And we're going to call so when the Google bots go out and they scrape looking for information, they're accumulating points, if you will. Mm-hmm. And the algorithm then for any given search query, right? Best family law lawyer near me, right? It's going to give those search results based upon the ability to give Google what it wants. Google looks for what they call signals. So, and again, this is all described in the book. So you're basically feeding the points. So if you correct the negatives and focus on building the points up, you're going to outrank your competitors for your most important keywords. And again, that's going to be, for example, for Google My Business and for the organic. Two different algorithms, by the way. Mm-hmm. So there are different ingredients. So that's an example of some of the stuff we're going to unpack. And I'll take just a little bit deeper dive into it and talk about directories and citations. So directories are, as you know, outside of Google, a directory is going to be Yellow Pages or Yelp is even a directory, right? Technically, it's a review site, but it's a directory, or they're actually trying to become a search engine. We know that YouTube's a search engine, so that every business has a listing that they need to claim, but not only claim, they need to build it, optimize it, and maintain it, because what happens is Google's scraping the internet, looking for trusted information. And again, this is all described in the book. And Chris, if you can't trust the information you're getting from Google, or it's not relevant to what you're searching for, what are you going to do?
What am I going to do?
You're going to go somewhere else. You're going to go to Bing or Yahoo or DuckDuckGo, right?
Yeah.
Right. So we do have a choice. Technically, we do have a choice. And
I forgot about all those. I use Google all the time. So I was like, is there someone?
You're not alone. I just saw a report that when you take Google and Google a couple of the Google assets, they have 94% of the market share
like
for search. Yeah.
Crazy.
And then each industry most likely is going to have some vertical directories. Right, so that if you're practicing medicine, you probably want to be in Rate MDs, where they're going to be or wellness.com. So for law, how many directories do you think there are for law? Different directories like lawyers.com and and all that stuff. 87.
Wow.
87 directories. You have to be in every one of them.
Wow.
You have to be built properly to get the most number of points as Google goes through in milliseconds and scrapes looking for data. So that's how Google develops the trust, right? So that if they can see that your name, address, and phone number and all your other information is consistent throughout all these directories, they can trust you. And then on top of it, if you optimize them with the right keywords, the results are going to be relevant to you. So I said trusted and relevant results to you as a consumer. So again, that's what Google wants to provide. So if I mistakenly just put my name, ABC law firm, and just lawyer rather than family law lawyer, I'm going to show up in search results for bankruptcy lawyer or estate planning lawyer, which you don't want those people. Mm-hmm. Right. So that becomes critically important to make sure that it's done right.
Yeah.
That's a deeper dive into some of the SEO and Google My Business stuff.
And this is so important too, because to my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, Google takes a look at, your area around your office and things like that. And this targeting is so important. It's so highly competitive.
Mm-hmm. So to get into the Google My Business section, you actually need a hard address, a real address in that city. Right. So that, years ago, before that map was there, if we go back 8, 9, 10, probably 10 years ago at this point, remember it was just all text, all metadata, if you will, right? So if I'm in West Palm Beach, Florida, and I search for a dentist and I'm getting results for dentists in Orlando or Tampa, Orlando's 2.5 hours, Tampa's 4 hours away, that's not relevant to me.
Yeah.
So Google, using the U.S. postal system zip code system in their geolocation technology, designed it for local search, because 80% of all purchases are made locally anyway as consumers, right? Then they took the next step about 5 years ago by adding reviews and a star rating. So if you see the 3 listings, one has 4.9 star ratings with 260 reviews. The next one has 4.4. The next one has 3.5. Which one are you calling?
Yeah.
Do you need to read 200 reviews?
No.
Probably not, right?
People are just going to click on the top one and go.
That's right. So again, getting back to conversions, that's one of the other things we do, and it's a great segue into talking about that as part of the book. So we talk about reputation marketing, which is different than reputation management. Reputation management is reactive. Reputation marketing is proactive. It's creating a real reputation with real clients, in the case of law firms, and making that reputation, those real reviews, go viral. So everywhere your potential customer looks, they see you and they get to read great things about you. And that makes, again, getting back to my other point, makes conversions that much easier. And I have clients coming back to me reporting, aside from personal injury where it's going to be settlement based, but they're telling me their clients are coming in for a free consult meeting with check in hand and they say, I read so many great things about you on the internet.
Wow.
How much is the retainer, right?
There you go.
Right.
Check in hand. Those are the best clients to have.
I think that makes what we're going to call easily converted clients.
That's good. That's good. This is awesome, man. This is great data. People are going to be able to pick up the book. What else do you want to tease out about the book before we go out?
Yeah, we have a program. Well, I just want to wrap up on reviews.
Sure.
We have a program called Top Rated Law Firm, and it's really, really robust industrial strength. And it passively accumulates or acquires great reviews and then facilitates the distribution. It's really, really cool piece of technology. So we can talk about Facebook ads because that seems very popular, and the concept of funnels, if you're familiar with the concept of funnels. Of course, we know Russell Brunson is the guru there, and I love his books. I have all his books. It's great. So I don't know him. I just gave him a plug. How about that? Right?
There you go. We better charge him.
Right, Russell, if you're listening,
we'll send him an invoice.
That's right. There you go. The key to Facebook ads is to get in front of the right people. So Dan Kennedy calls it message to market match, if you're familiar with that, right? And I've got a lightning storm right outside my door, so hopefully we're going to be okay. Didn't plan on that, Chris.
Yeah, we should have planned better for the lightning storm. At least you're not California, because then you'd be an earthquake. So
well, South Florida, you just never know. You can plan all you want, right? Back to Facebook. So interestingly enough, we as consumers, unbeknownst to us, and some people who are a little bit more aware, we tell Facebook everything, and that's part of what's going on with Apple and all. They know everything about us. They know where you grew up, where you live. From that, they know your zip code. They know where you went to high school or college, what you do for a living, what you're liking and commenting on in terms of other types of things. So from that, they can get a pretty good idea of what your income level is and what your demographic is, which we all know is super important when it comes to marketing. That's what makes Facebook scary and tremendous, right? I only want to see the ads that I want to see. So with that, we can develop a profile or an avatar or whatever you want to call it of the potential clients that my clients want to be in front of. So I'll give you an example. We're running a campaign right now for a family law firm, and we've developed a divorce kit for men and a divorce kit for women. Wow. And they want higher end divorces, right? because the retainers are more, and if there's more and more money, right? So they actually even like contentious divorces. Imagine that.
Yeah, well, yeah, those are the fight ones, man. Those
right, exactly.
Billable by the hour.
So who do you think sees the divorce kit for women? Only women, right? Same for the divorce kit for men. So we've developed a series of ads and a profile of both geofencing out zip codes we don't want, right? And then developing the imagery and the profiling that would be attractive to the potential client. And the results have just been tremendous. And again, going back to the Russell Brunson model, I mentioned Dan Kennedy earlier, you have to have the right magnet, right? So what's the offer? So we create the magnet. The magnet is free divorce kit.
There you go.
Divorce is a protracted buying cycle. So what do I mean by that? So at every moment of every day, Chris, all of us as consumers are in some stage of the buying cycle for something, right? Yeah. So, and having lived through a divorce, I'm still alive. I like to say I got the dog in the debt, right?
There you go. That's usually how it works.
There you go, right? So it took a long time to get there. And typically what I see, and I'm not a psychotherapist and don't deal with, family therapy and whatnot, but marriage counseling, but I see typically men will stick it out. They'll just suck it up and they'll cheat until there's an event where they get caught cheating, boom, and the wife files or something. Women will just reach that tipping point and it'll be bad, and then they're just going to go file. Yeah. So it's funny how that works, and we're actually seeing probably a 2-to-1 ratio in terms of women downloading the kit to men, right? With the same impressions. So you're basically talking about the same number of people seeing it, the same number of people clicking through, but just fewer people fewer men downloading it versus women, or more women downloading it then. So does that give you a really good idea how Facebook ads work and how you can use it, leverage it to your advantage to get qualified leads? Now, I just want to take one more step with that. Okay. And again, this is all described in the book. So if I'm thinking about divorce, but I'm not ready for divorce, and I download the kit, that doesn't mean I'm ready to pick up a phone and schedule a consult, right? I'm thinking about it. It took 18 months for me and my ex-wife to get there. So, and I'm sure that's, I'm not the only one, right?
Yeah.
So they need to be nurtured through a sequence of information, providing them valued information, rather than saying, hey, come in for your consult, or what I like to see, buy for me, buy for me, buy for me. That's not what you want. You want to become the thought leader in their space. And if they're not ready after a sequence of 3 or 5 or 7 emails, and again, that's just providing information with a real subtle call to action, maybe a video testimonial, right? Maybe a 60-second clip from one of the partners telling people love stories. So we want to tell a story. Hey, let me tell you about the Josh Koenigsberg divorce, or, change the name to protect the innocent, right?
Sure.
So that's what we have the client do. Sometimes we'll even actually go out and get what's known, and Russell talks about an attractive character. So if you're not familiar with that concept, we'll do an attractive character video, and that can be a real person, or it can actually be an actor where we write the storyboard, do the whole thing, and it's like a rags to riches or a riches to rags to riches story, So he's got 4 of them. We see that one seems to be working best for us.
Awesome.
To bring it back to the buying cycle, so that's going to take a long time. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop them into a monthly nurturing bucket specific for men or specific for women. So it's not like a whole bucket where everybody's dumped in. We're creating silos of monthly emails to continue to touch them, to stay top of mind. And when they're ready, they're going to come in.
There you
go. So that versus, oh my God, I can't take it anymore, I need a divorce, and I type in best divorce attorney near me, I'm now getting search results, as we discussed, that are relevant, that are trustworthy, and I'm going to make that call and find out what the retainer is. Maybe I'm going to poke around and read some reviews. That is a much shorter buying cycle, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm hoping what I just did was describe the delineation between what I define as relevance marketing, going to Google 30 years ago, going to the Yellow Pages, versus discovery. They just found you, and I'm thinking about it, and oh, that's a good idea, or yeah, I need that.
There's going to be so many divorces coming down the pike. Like I said, all my buddies' wives are just telling me, they're like, Chris, a lot of wives are really unhappy. They're getting divorced.
Mm-hmm.
So I was actually thinking at the beginning of the pandemic, I'm like, how quickly can I get a divorce attorney license? Run through school really quick, but it takes longer than a year and a half. But it'll be a good time for that, I guess.
I think that we're going to see a boom there for sure.
Yeah.
Also bankruptcy.
Yeah,
bankruptcy.
Well.
We're seeing the uptick there. Interestingly enough, and I don't want to sound morbid, especially given what we're dealing with through the pandemic, but I've recently engaged several estate planning, probate, and it really never dawned on me until I got because we do in-depth conversations and branding documents and really take a deep dive into the practice, because even though they practice the same type of law, every practice is different, and we want to know, the ins and outs, and what their values are, and so we take a deeper dive. And what came out of it in over the last month or so of engaging a couple new estate and family estate planning firms is this. I came up with a really kind of funny phrase for it: is you're really in a never dying industry. Your industry is never dying. Mm-hmm. Right? Why? Because everybody dies.
Yeah,
and everybody's going to, right? Not everybody has.
It's kind of like a funeral business. Yeah.
That's right. I'm like, oh my gosh, it never dawned on me. So
yeah. Yeah, that's until they solve mortality and come up with the immortalness.
Yeah, I don't know that we want that. Yeah, we're going to the overpopulation conversation, right?
Yeah.
So
there you go.
So did I answer your question properly?
You certainly did. Yeah, you certainly did. We got all laid out. Anything more you want to cover before we go out?
I'll just say the genesis of the book. I want to take just talk about that for a quick minute. And that is what we've learned. And again, I should even say it's the genesis of the book. What came out of the book is this. And I started working on it about the same time I started writing the book. And after doing this for 10 years, we figured out really what works and what doesn't work for law firms. And we also discovered the number one reason why all law firms struggle to achieve this phenomenal success, and in some cases even survive, is because they lack a consistent flow of qualified leads week over week and month over month and year over year, and leads that are easily convertible to clients, as I previously described, right? Mm-hmm. And the reason they don't have that consistent flow of qualified leads, and it's the same across every area of law, and it's so simple, it's because they don't have a good marketing system. They tend to throw a bunch of crap up against the wall, see what sticks, without any tracking and measurement, without any attribution. So after 6, 9, or 12 months, that doesn't work, and I'm going to go back to AVO or whatever, some secondary or tertiary level of directory. And because of that, now they struggle and they live off of a series of what I call episodic income events, which are settlements or retainers. So it looks like kind of like a sonograph, right? The waves, up and down and up and down and up and down. So with a system, which we aptly named a law firm client generation system, right? We can take those peaks and valleys and create a ski slope, an inverted ski slope, if you will, or going from the bottom to the top, and fill in those valleys and get that consistent flow. So there's a constant stream of easily convertible qualified leads.
That's awesome. That's awesome. This is going to be a great book to take and get a hold of. As we go out, give us your plugs so people can look you up on the interwebs and find out more about you guys and your firm.
Great, sure. www.lawfirmmarketingpros.com. And from there, you can get the links to all the social media good stuff. More and more videos coming on our YouTube channel. There's a link. Please subscribe, because we're just about to produce a whole bunch of content. Actually, some of it's already in the can, and just tightening a couple things up. There are some great case studies there from 4 different types of law firms: criminal defense, a business lawyer, a family lawyer, and a did I say personal injury? I think I did not. So there's 4 case studies, and there's more of those coming as well. But you can see the enthusiasm from our clients and the results that they got. So it's great stuff.
There you go. Well, Josh, it's been wonderful to have you on the show and share your forthcoming book with us. Pretty darn awesome. Thank you for spending some time and educating us.
Well, Chris, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it, and I really appreciate you for being here. Thanks.
Thank you very much, sir. And I'll leave you to your storms in Florida there. That are coming in.
Should be a fun afternoon.
There you go. It's sunny, stormy. You got everything going on.
That's right. That's right.
So there you guys go. For my audience, check out the book, order it up at your local bookseller or Amazon. You'll look for it to be forthcoming here soon. Law Firm Digital Marketing Made Easy, the only book you'll ever need to become a best-known attorney. And thanks to Josh for being with us today. Thanks for my audience. Go to youtube.com/Chris Voss. Hit the bell notification button. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss. Go to Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, all those different groups that we have over there, and you can find out more and see everything we're doing. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.